So Prasad, first of all, welcome to Wellbeing Voices. Uh, you know, I'm actually looking forward to this conversation because I remember speaking to Dr. Devi Shetty, who's very passionately, apart from being the a cardiologist to running Narayana Health, but he's very passionate about insurance. And he mentioned something which is stayed in my head as a problem to solve, which is that he said you have a hospital and you have an insurance company. Hospital does not trust the insurance company, and the insurance company does not trust the hospital. And the third part of the triangle is the patient who does not trust either.
Yes.
राइट एंड उसको ये नहीं पता कि उसको इंश्योरेंस क्लेम मिलेगा नहीं मिलेगा, उसको ये नहीं पता मेरी प्रेडिक्टेबिलिटी ऑफ सर्जरी उन्होंने बताया था 3 लाख की होगी, बिल आता है 5 लाख रुपए का, उसमें से कितना पास होगा कितना नहीं होगा। फिर उसको बोलते हैं आप डिस्चार्ज हो जाओगे सुबह, ये तो पता चल जाता है, लेकिन डिस्चार्ज होने में 7 घंटे 8 घंटे लग जाती है, हॉस्पिटल बेड इज़ ब्लॉक्ड, द पेशेंट एंड द फैमिली is aggrieved, feeling stuck. He's itching to go back home, and the hospital and the insurance companies are exchanging facts and scanned documents for hours, not knowing what the outcome is going to be. So, which is why I really was looking forward to having this conversation. So, thank you so much for taking our time.
Thank you. Thank you. Very nice to be here.
Prasad, what do you think is where the problem lies? Is it the hospital who delays sending the documents, or is it the insurance company which delays in responding to the hospital?
Actually, you hit upon the biggest problem in this sector right now. The cashless claims are increasing. More and more people are utilizing health insurance. They're getting access to health insurance. Nearly 50% of the hospital's business is on cashless health insurance. So it's a very large part of this ecosystem, and it's, as you said, is completely broken, right? The problems here is, unfortunately, all three of the people that you mentioned, the individual, the hospital, and the insurer, all of them equally suffer, right? Now, when we sit at the hospital, the patient is waiting to get discharged, the villain is usually the insurer, right? The insurer has delayed the approval. Insurer has not approved the full amount, right? So the entire thing has the insurer. If you go to the insurer side, it's a very different story, right? A lot of health business is not underwriting positive. So what it means is the cost of acquisition of a patient, of a customer, and the operating cost and the claim cost is more than the premium earned by the insurer. Right?
Correct.
And hence the insurance, and there is a lot of systemic fraud also that happens. Not throughout, maybe there are always 10 to 15% bad players in the system, right? So the insurance company has to do a ton of due diligence, and the insurance company has taken it upon itself to be the arbitrator of saying what is a reasonable charge and what is not a reasonable charge. Is 40,000 for a cataract reasonable? Is 1.5 lakh for a cataract reasonable? Who decides that, right? So ultimately the payer is trying to bring in some kind of a control. So the insurance is taking upon itself, because as a payer, to bring in some kind of a diligence in this. Hence they are spending their time doing due diligence, trying to ensure everything is correct, and this sort of slows down the system, right? And the hospital does not have full visibility of all the aspects that an insurer is looking for, right? If there is complete visibility here, saying, hey, for this kind of a treatment, I need these justifications. And these are the reasonable costs that we have agreed on. So ensure everything is as per whatever standards that are there. And these standards are well known and published and agreed between the both parties. The friction sort of goes away. And in the third, the policyholder has no idea of either.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
He doesn't know how the charge is 3 lakhs or 5 lakhs, doesn't understand it. he doesn't, in most cases, doesn't understand why something is paid and why something is not paid. Why are they paying for, say, this medicine but not for that medicine, right? So the the main systemic issue that I see, which is the cause of all this friction, is the lack of transparency, right? This information of how the insurer decides what to pay, what not to pay, and when to pay, and how to pay is not very clear to the hospital, is not very clear to the policyholder, right? And even when it becomes clear, there are some parts which the hospital and the insurer try to manage. It is again not published to the third party, which is the patient.
Patient.
Right. So the lack of transparency, what happens is that they become antagonists, each one of them, and the trust factor goes down, and that is the main reason why the process becomes cumbersome. The second reason that you mentioned is this is entirely based on a lot of manual effort from an insurer end, from both sides, right? So I don't know what he's asking, I don't know what I'm telling, right? Hospital says this is the information, take it. The insurer says no, this is not all the information, give me something more. This back and forth happens, and this is all managed and decided by tribal knowledge of experts.
Correct.
So there are experts sitting, and it's their tribal knowledge which is driving a lot of these conversations. So unless this is very standardized, which gives you transparency, the moment it's standardized, it is easy to automate with technology this entire process. I think that is what we should move towards.
So, what I understand is, I think one is the speed, the transparency, both need to be solved.
Yes.
Right? But, in the process of solving these problems, we are adding more layers of companies, products getting involved in it. You have a TPA who comes in. So who's somebody who's managing the TPA desk. He comes in between as a layer between the hospital and the insurer. And they have their own processes, they have their own responsibility to ensure that the insurance company is not, giving away more money than what is due. Where does IHX come in?
Okay. IHX is sort of right bang in the middle between the providers and the payers. So on one side you have the hospitals where the origin of this entire claim process comes in, and the other side is are the insurers and TPAs where the processing of the claim comes in. IHX today is integrated on both ends. So basically right from a TPA desk billing person sitting there, the person's view is IHX. And that becomes the conduit through which all the claims pass through. So today about 40-45% of India's cashless claims pass through IHX as a platform, right? And which is increasing on a daily basis. And on the other end, we are connected deeply with the payers. And so that we are able to give this in a digital manner into their operating platform so that it can have a faster flow. Now what we are doing is we are working with payers also in automating their decision flow, right? So the moment they receive a claim, the process of decision that I told you is all tribal knowledge, right? That is
Correct.
end-to-end automated. Instead of taking 2 hours, can I do it in 2 seconds?
Right.
The system should do all the work, and it should be a one-click decisioning,
Right.
right? Or an automated decision. And that is where the IHX comes in. So one is the channel part of it, the other one is the automated decision.
Got it.
What we are now working on is bringing that knowledge. As I said, if it is transparent, if I'm able to bring the science of how do I decide to pay to the front end, so that the hospitals have visibility right at the start, and ensuring that the information that I provide is complete, is clear, so that the insurer doesn't have to do much work.
Got it.
Right? So that is where it is.
So Prasad, at the end of the day, we are using technology to speeden up the process that a human being would have otherwise done, right? Because the to minimize the errors and to speed up the process. And I'm sure you're using the latest technologies like AI to solve these two issues.
Right.
What is the difference has it made from the time technology was brought in terms of what is, I mean, instead of 2 hours, if the process takes 2 seconds or a minute, what does this transform to in terms of time saving for the patient? That's one. Second is what happens because systems and technology is also not foolproof.
Right.
It reduces the errors, but the errors do happen. So what happens? What is the impact that we are seeing, and what is it that needs to be done, or what can be, or what is being done when the errors happen?
True. Actually, the purpose of technology here is what I, because I've been working in reducing human inefficiencies, right?
Yes.
The purpose of technology when it tries to do some automation in this set of process is to take away the drudge work. Now I'm having, say, an expert doctor sitting and validating a claim in an insurer side, right? That's the tribal knowledge that I talked about.
Right.
And with 20 years of experience. But 80% of my claims are very simple, very straightforward. Why do I need this person's time, waste that person's time on something which is clear and straightforward?
Correct. Correct.
Right? Can I do the same level of due diligence that an expert will do on their best day with infinite time?
Right.
And that is what is coded in the system, right?
Got it.
So it will do its diligence efficiently, but the main thing that you said, where are the errors come in, right? It must be reliable enough to highlight cases where there is ambiguity and make use of the experts only for those
Got it. Wherever
wherever
complexity is there.
yes. So it should be an exception. So going to an expert is an exception. So now what happens as the systems are scaling, the insurers cannot keep recruiting armies of doctors to look at things, right? Or the hospitals cannot keep having armies of people just for financial due diligence.
Got it. Right.
So this sort of the drudgery and the scaling is done by the system. The experts are still needed. Okay. The human in the loop cannot be replaced completely by any of the technology. The technology is there only to take away the drudgery. So your 90% work is done, and only those few cases that require an expertise should still come to a human intelligence that the AI cannot take care of.
Got it. Also apart from the intelligence speed, I think objectivity is something that the technology brings in because something that could have missed because one difference, big difference between a human being and an artificial intelligence is that it doesn't get tired.
Yeah.
By the end of the day, you're like speeding up the process just because
And
you
it
need to
doesn't
get
have
back
good days and bad days.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Right?
So you don't miss out on certain things. When you add in layers, the expectation is there's a cost being added because somebody else also now needs to get paid.
Right.
The technology has to be licensed, etc. What have you seen in your experience of providing your services that despite the cost being added, it has built in an efficiency that overall cost of the service has gone down?
So in all our services that we have provided, this is like a fundamental question, right? So my cost of processing, is it cheaper than me adding 5 more people,
Right,
right?
right.
So is that cheaper or should I invest in? So that sort of conversation sometimes comes in. So one of the things that we have shown and proved over the years is that this becomes zero cost project.
Got it.
Within 3 months, any technology should start funding itself,
Right.
right? And provide at least a 3x to 7x, if not more, benefits,
Right.
right? And in most cases, it is at least 5 times
Right.
minimum benefits that it provides, and within 3 months, it's self-funding. Because you have introduced so much of automation into the system, it would start funding itself. The amount of so operational efficiency is one, which I would say is the base thing that any technology solution should provide. At the minimum, operational efficiency.
Got it.
The bigger part becomes if it is giving financial benefit, which is at a bottom line, right? It must
Yes.
have direct financial
Absolutely.
benefit to your balance sheet.
Absolutely.
So that is the level. And the third is if the technology is able to grow your business, help your business grow. So these are the 3 stages of, and one thing here is, uh, unlike a utility like a phone or a laptop, this is not something that is shrink wrap, buy and use. This requires a partnership,
Got it.
right? So the players have to work together with any technology product to actually realize some of these benefits. So most customers, we work as a partner over years so that the full benefit is realized.
Awesome. My last question to you, Prasad, is that how do platforms like AHPI actually help companies like IHX to not just generate more business, but to create visibility in terms of the impact that could be there, especially when you have access to thousands and thousands of hospitals. How is it benefiting you?
Oh, this is possibly one of the best platforms for us to even bring together these things, because the ideas dissemination that in a platform like AHPI provides, I don't think anybody else we would be able to get this. There are lots of new things happening, which might be happening in pockets, but it's only in a platform like this we are able to bring in changes across this ecosystem, because it is able to bring in the entire players in one platform. So that way this is a fantastic platform to actually bring in and talk about all of these new things.
Awesome. Prasad, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you so much for taking our
Absolutely.
time to speak with me.
Thanks for giving me the opportunity. Thank you.